Hi guys, welcome to Journey of the Joyful Life podcast. I'm your host, Melodie Chandler, and I am very excited to come here today from my house. Right now we are in full summer mode. Normally we record our podcast at Journey School, but we're not at Journey School every day right now. And also you're going to hear little sounds possibly in the background. We're in my living room, so we have birds. And maybe the dog will come in, or two dogs, and maybe the rabbit is here, and we're just, all the children are upstairs except for Katie Girl, who's sitting right here with us. So it's just going to be a great time today, and we're glad that you're joining us. But today I have my special friend Dannye here, Dannye Petty, and Dannye and I, we go way back.
Way back.
Yeah. So, we've been talking about stories and adoption stories or biological stories of kids with disabilities, and I'm pretty sure that it never came across my thought processes when we were children that our stories would be so
intersected.
Yeah, so intersected and combined. So my dad and Dannye's dad went to high school together, and then the rest is history because we have gone to churches, different churches, not always the same church, but different churches together.
Yeah.
We homeschooled together. Dannye's brother and I graduated from high school together.
4-H together.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah, for sure. Showed chickens together. That was fun as kids. And baked things.
Yes. Food shows.
Yeah.
Your mom's classes. And
that's right.
All the things.
Violin lessons,
yes. With my violin teacher. I was a terrible student.
But one thing we always had in common was children. Dannye, you and I just love children, and we always have. And if we were at an event, we were probably holding babies, somebody's baby.
Yeah.
Or
fighting over babies.
Yeah. Babies. That's right. So I think that whenever I moved to China, I hadn't seen you in a long time. Every time I would come home, pretty much I would get to see you. But I can remember really strategically the time I came home and I wasn't feeling well, and I was preparing for Yummy to have her surgery. So this was in 2013.
Yeah. It was in 2013.
I was thinking about it earlier.
That memory actually just came across my Facebook from where you had posted on my Facebook wall about let's get together. The very first time you ever wanted to talk to me about it. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. I remember so well because my mom thought, we've got to find someone to go back to China with you and here in our area. And I was just thinking, who in the world's going to go to China with me? But I knew if I was going to take Yummy to Shanghai to have surgery, I was going to be gone from my home in China for a long time. And I was just gone because I was in America. Right. And having to go back, and it could be, they told me 2 or 3 months, they didn't know how long, and how was Yummy going to handle it. And so I remember just praying, Lord, please provide somebody who doesn't have any children, who's not married, who's free, who could come, and somebody that I know, that I trust. Because I could have put something out there, who would want to come to China, but that scared me to death. And also, I knew what happened whenever I would leave. Either I would get a new baby or somebody would get sick. Who can I trust to take care of the kids? And as I was praying one day, the word just got into my mind. And when I was talking to my mom, I was like, oh, Dannye. And my mom was like, there is no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. She's like, yes, Dannye. Dannye would be the perfect person. There's no way Dannye wants to go to China. I'm like, Mom, you understand. I'm really good at convincing people. She was like, I don't know, you could try it. And I remember we met at that Panera.
Yep.
And your mom came with you.
Yes.
I just remember thinking, oh man, Miss Penny's not even gonna let me hear this. They're all did I tell you I want to talk to you about going to China?
No, you didn't tell me right off. No,
okay.
Not until we got there.
Okay,
yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think you said there was something you wanted to talk to me about, but you did not specify. Did you think that's what I was
No.
You didn't. No. I don't know. Maybe it might have crossed my mind. It's been a long time now. It might have crossed my mind at the time, but I probably thought she probably didn't really expect me to say yes. So
Well, I don't know what I expected. I was very hopeful, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And just like perspective wise, like I was like I am, I'm not was, but like pretty outgoing and like travel anywhere, go anywhere. And I think Dannye
I'm polar opposite.
like
Very
my
much.
house.
Yes, very much a homebody. Definitely not a traveler. Definitely had never been out of the country.
Okay, I was thinking,
Never anything like that. So I remember the mad rush to get my passport once it all was settled, trying to get it. Because I said the only way I would go with her would be if I could actually travel back with her and not
Right.
travel
to China.
to China by myself for the first time.
That's right.
I didn't. I was not a traveler. It was one of the first times I had flown. I hadn't flown much even before that.
That's right.
So yeah, very little.
In my mind, I thought, you know, with your grandparents on trips during the summer. You know, I just remembered that was a fun thing that you got to do. I'm like, oh, maybe she's something like adventurous. She can go trips with her grandparents.
Adventurous, I am not. However, loving children and loving missions and loving Mel, I was very much so.
I do like very vividly remember your face whenever I was like, you come to chat with me and you were like, oh yeah, that's odd. And I was like, world, you know, and then your mom, like, all the questions.
Yes.
And you know, I was like, how can I spin this so everything is positive? There's no negatives. Like, you know. There's some negatives, but spin this so positive. But then I mean, just your willingness to even be open to it.
Yeah. The Lord just did a work in my heart. And, you know, I am so thankful. It's the most life changing thing I've ever done and would not trade it for anything in this world. So
that's pretty crazy. I don't remember how much time it was from the day we sat at that Panera until we got on the plane because I was
it was pretty short. Yeah. We had to do a rush on passport and visas and all that stuff to get it all arranged. I can't remember how long it actually was, but I want to say it was like a month, maybe two, something like that. Like it was not long.
Yeah. I remember it was less than 6 weeks because I remember thinking I only have 6 weeks to be here and I have to figure it out within 6 weeks. And I hadn't really thought for sure that you would fly back with me. I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know who it was going to be. I was like, well, I have to leave out this time.
Right. So you have to settle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just remember thinking like, well, if it's going to work out, if the Lord opens every single door, then you get the passport, you get the visa, then we know. Then we know. I remember every time you're like, I just don't know. And I'm like, nothing to get to the next step.
I have always thought you must have been so sick of me and my doubts and my fears and all of this stuff. Like I was so young in essence. I mean, like it's in this kind of thing. It was also new, and I was terrified out of my mind. And you know, it was all scary. It was just scary. I thought so, especially in hindsight. You must be so sick of me.
No, not at all. I felt so proud of you. Like that you were willing to try all that stuff because I knew how hard that was. You know, like for Pam, Daniel, like I wouldn't have thought of you your siblings.
Yeah.
That would have been so outlandish.
Definitely not. Pam had always had in mind in her like teenage years through even maybe most of her college, like to be a missionary. That was like one of her dreams, one of her thoughts of the direction for her life. And that was never my thought. I was like, can you talk to somebody? Go somewhere? That's not my thing.
That's well, then you came.
Then I came, yeah.
We went and did. So really quickly, once we got there,
we hit the ground running.
We had to figure out all the things because I had to get Yami to go to Shanghai. And
you had got Go.
That's right.
Right. While you were in America that time, when I came back with you, we had them in your house.
That's right. And I think JP and Stephanie were there.
Yes, I think so. Or at least they came while I was there the first time, at least. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Because maybe the IEs were there and had taken them to the hospital during the original time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's right. Because
yeah. So I think like that initial kind of like quickness, which is kind of how it always was there.
Yeah.
Like, hurry up and wait, hurry up and
Like
wait.
on Peter's pants.
Yeah.
The things, yeah.
Yes, I remember like we would go to bed with a plan, and then it was like, well, the plan might change between when we go to bed and when we wake up. But which apartment did you stay in originally? In 17?
I think I stayed with you originally. I slept on, I know at least for most of the time, I slept on Yami, above Yami, on her top bunk.
In that small room?
In that small room, that little big room. She was on the bottom, I was on the top.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Because Sammy was in my room.
Yeah, but Sammy was still with you, and afterwards you were still so little. So.
Yeah. So it was just crazy how it worked at our house at that time. But I've forgotten we didn't even have the new apartments over on the other side.
Right.
We were still in 2013, that was so long. So anyway, originally we had Doga and Yenza, and everybody got to hear Doga's story whenever we went to Angie's because we did grill, and such a sweet little story. But I could tell so quickly how your heart was so drawn to me.
I mean, it was. I think I've always thought, like all children, I could just be a mother to. I love all children and have a love for children, but there was something about Yenza, and she was just so precious. Yeah, I was so attached so quickly. I remember you telling me later, no, that you were just praying, because we knew she was so sick. She was so sick, and so I attached so quickly to her and with her as much as I possibly could be. And it's just precious.
It's true. And I don't know if everybody who listens understands, but Yenza had Down syndrome, and she also had a really severe heart defect. And
I remember when we took them to the hospital to have the ultrasound on their heart and everything. I just remember, couldn't understand the word, but I remember them, like the nurses, just their astonishment and as they were doing it on Yenza, and how she cried and then would sleep through exhaustion, and their faces, I just remember knowing it must have been awful. I remember crying all the way home in the taxi, holding her and crying. Goodness.
I know.
It was so hard.
It was so hard. Yeah. And Goga's heart was bad too at that time.
Yeah.
They both had really grim diagnoses after that first ultrasound. And it's interesting because sometimes the orphanage would send me to go get an ultrasound, and then sometimes I would have to figure it out on my own, like figure out that the baby had something going on and that we need to have an ultrasound. But I remember specifically realizing like the orphanage didn't know that this was bad. Yeah. And Goga's to send me to go to that big huge hospital because we had to go to that main hospital in town.
Yes. And you had did we have Ava at that time too? Yes, because I remember so much walking through and all of them being shocked at these two foreigners who were holding these three tiny babies all at one time. Like we had three babies between us.
Yes. And they were so tiny. I think I was carrying her in one of my arms and hands in your arms. Yeah, she was actually the bigger one.
Yes.
Like size-wise, even though she didn't really match her age.
Yeah, definitely not.
But I do remember that. I think I got so used to people just staring at me all the time that I was like, oh, they're just looking at me again.
And that was like my first experience with it. And it was everybody was so astonished, at these women with these three babies. Talking about the Sangha all the time. Three all the time.
So two adults. Typically in China, there's like two adults with one child. Sometimes three adults with one child, and then it's us with three babies. And they're like, what in the world is going on?
These people.
I know, it's crazy. Even the nurses at the hospital. Yes. Like, are you really going to hold her while you help me with that? Not this. I mean, yeah. And Ava, her heart was okay.
Yes.
So that visit, I remember, it was like, well, 2 out of 3, and just so hard. But Ava was so tiny too.
Yes, teeny.
She had a little bit more fight than her. Yeah, both bones. But so very quickly after that is whenever I left with him.
Yes, very quickly after that. It was, well, I guess it was after Yenza passed away that you left, but it was like right after Yenza passed away.
Yes, because do you remember how long that she was with us? For 2 months? 3 months?
It couldn't have been. I wasn't there for quite 3 whole months the first time, so it couldn't have been that she was maybe there with us for a month. And yeah, and it was right after that you got the call about taking, because we were in the hospital together when Yenza passed away.
Yes.
And then right after that, we were just so crushed and just everything. And then right after that, you got a call, and it was like, she's leaving.
Well, and I remember so vividly because I had already had Levi that passed away.
Yes.
That there's no way to cope with death. There's no grief. There's no way that they facilitate.
Yes.
So
I remember you trying to give me all the heads up on what was about to happen, because we knew she was going to die. We knew there was nothing that we could do for her. And I remember you trying to tell me all of the things that were about to happen just to prepare me for it, because you said it's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. But
it's going to be awful. And actually, Yensis was so much better.
Yeah.
Because they let us
hold her and be there with her. We were in a little tiny room, yeah.
And sometimes
it was just us too. Yeah.
And I think I don't know, it made me feel like it was like hospice. Like they knew that we wanted to stay with her, but they weren't going to intervene unless we needed it. So they just put us in this little room, and then I think then they made us go to a basement room. She passed. Yeah. It was so sweet while she was passing, and her heart was, that was one of the hardest things I remember having to say, Dannye, her heart is stopping now.
Yeah.
And so
you had to wake me up.
Yeah.
We had fallen asleep with her in my arms.
Yeah. And, oh my gosh. I was just I don't even know if I can do it. Lord, I just
sing to her.
And as her heart stopped beating, and I just was like, oh, because when Levi passed, I didn't have a way to monitor any of that. And that was kind of my first time to realize. I mean, we saw it, we could know that it was coming. Yes. But also then it feels kind of like, how long is it going to take? Yeah. You're just dealing with the back and forth. And then I just remember thinking, Lord, she can't handle this anymore. You and her and me, we're all you're dealing with this, and we just need you to take her because it's suffering, Yeah. And then having to wake you up and tell you, and then I was just like, oh, I don't know. How can we go on? And then all I'm thinking is, I did this to her. I have let her. I remember I called my mom. I'm like, I've ruined your day's life. She fell in love with this baby. I told her to fall in love with the baby. But she did it anyway. And just I'm so proud of her for doing it. I told her about it. And then, I've ruined her, and I'm like, she's never going to do this again. And I'm just and my mom's like, snap out of it. I'm you didn't do anything. Why are you taking this on yourself? This is the Lord. The Lord allowed them to have to go through this. And I was like, I should have protected her. I'm thinking over and over again, what could I have done? And then I just remember thinking, whenever I got that call, what have you done? I'm kind of had a plan. I'm going to try to help you to work through this. Yeah. All these things. I have to leave, actually.
I have to leave, and you actually have to be in charge of the house and paying the nannies and all of these things, and all of the children that lived in your apartment with no nanny.
I don't know. I also feel like I was sort of mean a little bit. Dannye, just going to have to.
You did. You were. Yeah. No. It was good. No, it was good. I needed somebody to say, knock it off. Life has to go. Yes.
I didn't want it to keep going.
Right.
But I needed it to keep going for them. And I don't know. I was you're the only one. Keep it going.
Right. Yes. You did. You had to get really firm with me, but it's, No, it's okay. It was what I needed, and it helped me. It helped me to keep going and to realize, that, all the other children, Yenza is safe with Jesus, and now, we can take care of all the other children, and Yame can go get her surgery, and, sometimes you just need that jolt, it's just gotta, well, you really need to.
Up until that point, we hadn't really had that. Not really. Not the last time, but
that's the first.
So that was really, really hard. I just knew that I never children to take care of that whole situation. Little did I know, you were going to call me days later and tell me that you thought there might be lice.
Yes, that's right, lice. Yes, Yes, but I said, I am just certain that I had lice. Oh, it was terrible. Oh my goodness.
So bad, but nobody else got it.
Nobody else got it. But I remember too, you did have those other apartments because I took all of the laundry from our apartment, all of the bedding, all of everything, and washed everything in what was the oil I would have used?
Oh, yeah. I told you to put all kinds of oils
Yes,
in
I
there.
put it like
And
all
like
kinds of
boiling hot water.
boiling hot water. I boiled water on the stove to pour into the washing machines. I remember feeling like, Santa Claus carrying these bags of laundry across the apartment complex to the other building to wash all of these clothes, and I would spend the day there just like washing and boiling water and washing and boiling water, just like nobody else did it, and we would examine everybody and all this stuff. And as far as we ever knew, I was the only one, and
did Mariana bring you like some?
Mariana found some stuff. She had some, or maybe somebody else did that was there that she knew about, but she brought it to me so that I could deal with mine, and yeah, it was.
I was like, Lord, you have got to be kidding!
Right.
Like one thing after another thing after another thing, and I thought about later, like, you know what? That was another thing that just kept you to keep going.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
you were forcibly not able to stop.
Right.
Because of that situation.
Yeah, had to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I did more growing in that 3 months in one span of time than I maybe have almost ever done in the other span of time. Like, it grew me up in a lot of ways, as far as just being able to handle life, but also in, my trust in the Lord and just in my faith and everything. It was both the best and the worst times of my life. So, the Lord
then
does that. So.
So then all that time went on. I think I was in Shanghai with Yame for 6 weeks.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was a long time. It was a little shorter than what they had imagined because Yame responded so well when they finally let me be with her.
Yes.
That was so traumatic and hard.
I remember every day calling, like sending us updates, and it's not going well. There's this sign. Oh, there's this sign. Up and down and up and down. And I was trying to keep people posted and up and down and up and down. And then you were like, they finally let me be with her, and it was just like pretty much all of uphill from there. Like, she did so well. Yeah. After that, finally.
Yes. Well, I mean, talk about a fighter.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a fighter, and she was fighting them so hard in that room. And then when they told me she gave up, that's whenever I started to fight.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I was gonna like not get myself in trouble, but at that point, I was like, I don't even care.
Right.
I'm gonna go inside those doors right there unless you show her this. I was just like telling her, show her this video of her best friend playing Jesus.
Yes.
Or I'm gonna bust in there and do it myself. And I just remember the nurse looking at me like, okay, I'll do it right now.
Yes.
And then she came out and she was like, what? And she looked at it. She moved her hand, and I'm like, yes, she did. Believe that that's going to help her. She knows it's going to help her. She also knows that I'm not dead still.
Yes.
You have my
phone and her connection to her friend and everything.
Yes. People just let her. I see her. Or let me in. But that's how it happened. But anyways, they finally did.
Yes.
And they kept telling me, we've never let anyone out at this time. We never let. And I was like, okay, great. I don't even care. Just give me the child. Wheel her out here. Let's bring her here. Yeah. So. Very, very traumatic. But anyways, then we like
on separate traumatic situations.
That's true.
Man.
We're both having to rely on Jesus and each other.
Yes.
For one night. Oh, mercy. But then, like, I had to stay for a week there while they were just checking on her. Not necessarily in the hospital. We had to go to that other home and then have to take a train back.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let us fly because it was a whole thing. Can't go after heart surgery, apparently, in China. Right. So that was interesting, but we did. We took the train back from Shanghai all the way back to Guiyang. Very long. We did stop in Wuhan because it was so long that the doctor made me promise that we wouldn't take the whole trip. So we stopped in Wuhan and let her stay for a day to rest. Yeah. Not again. But then whenever we got back, I remember thinking, Bonnie, she's fallen in love with another baby. And I could tell that you were super
Yes, yes. And she was like tiny. Nobody could help it.
I know.
My goodness, what an angel.
She was.
Was.
Yeah, she still is. But
yes, yes, yes.
little bit more naughty.
Yeah.
That's expressive. But,
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah, I hadn't really, I was full on committed to adopting Yenza as soon as I was old enough, because you have to be 30 if you're a single woman to adopt in China. And so I wasn't yet when I met Yenza. And so, but I had full on committed. Like it was 100% what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And by the time you got back, I was in love with Ava, but I wasn't quite to that open.
Yeah.
Like it was too close and I was hurting too much. But didn't take long after I came home to go, okay, I really should, I really am. I've always wanted to adopt. I've always, even from the time I was little with my sister, we would play house and we played adoption. We would adopt kids all the time. I never thought about adopting special needs or anything like that. But, we had family that stayed with us and that were disabled, and it was just part of our world. I never thought about not adopting special needs, but it was, once I had been there and experienced it, I knew it was going to happen eventually, and I was in love with Ava, so that was the next thing.
Yeah.
And then you had to call me and say, guess what? Let me break your heart again. Ava has a family, which, of course, was absolutely wonderful. And I absolutely love Ava's family. And we're all so close now. And I can see the Lord's hand in the way he worked all that out. So
I was angry as a hornet at that time. I was really angry at Rebecca.
I was too.
That was a funny story too, because she didn't know us from Adam, but it was like us against her, not really, because we couldn't change anything.
Right. There was nothing to be done.
And obviously, it's a wonderful situation.
Of course, yes,
we love them
and
so
we
much.
love them, and wouldn't change it, for the world, because, I mean, if my life had gone that way, if I had adopted Ava, I don't know, I would have never come back. To do more ministry there, and then to eventually meet Katie, and then to, all the things went through together that last time I came. And, that's just such an integral part of our story, of our lives and all this stuff. So you can just see the Lord's hand in giving Ava an absolutely wonderful, perfect family for her.
Yes.
And, not letting her come be in my family.
I know, but it was so ironic. I just felt like thing after thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've just crushed your heart. And I remember again telling my mom, like, Danny's never going to come back to China.
Yeah.
She's done. She's ruined. I've ruined her. Everything about this has been a total and complete disaster. Like, my hope was that Ava would be the redemption.
Right. Of the story. The healing of the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then maybe you would come back. Because actually what I saw was how, like, wonderful. Like, I could see the visible growth of you having courage, doing things that you've never done before, and being willing to, like, say stuff and stand up for yourself and stand up for the kids. And even when you can't speak the language, you learn Chinese actually and any of my other volunteers.
At least what I needed to know.
Yeah. Think about it. And wait a minute. And, take me here.
Yes.
Taxi, where's the other? All the things.
All the things.
I love you.
All the things with the kids. The diapers. All these things we figure out how to say when you're in that situation.
The diapers,
exactly.
The things and the hard things and all of it. But yeah, I don't remember. I truthfully don't remember why or when I called you the second time to come. I think it was a holiday.
It was a holiday, and you were desperate. You were super low on volunteers. And in fact, that time, because that was in 2015, it was super short notice.
It was in the spring.
It was in the spring. Yeah, it was Chinese New Year, and it was super short notice. And I was like, of course I'll come, and because it had been a while, and I didn't think I would be able to face it again, but of course, it's just where my heart was, and so I ended up rushing everything through and, getting back for the holiday, and and it was wonderful. And it was too short.
That's right.
It was too
That's what I
short.
remember.
Yeah.
I remember, like, you could stay longer,
Yes,
Like,
yes. And I could take it off of work because I was working at that time, it was too short. I had to leave too quickly.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that
Yeah.
part. Because is that the trip where we went to the Great Wall afterwards?
No, we actually went to the Great Wall after the first trip. I think me, you, and
Volunteer Stephanie
yes,
and her daughter.
yes,
Because it was
that's
after
right.
the October. You stayed through October.
Yes, I stayed through, and we all went there and saw the Great Wall, and then I came home. I remember one time we were on that trip to the Great Wall, and you said I was feeling so sad about leaving, but I was so ready to go home. It was and I was like, I just am dreading leaving because I just loved the kids, and I loved what you were doing and the impact and the children. I mean, there was just nothing better, but I was, so ready to go home.
You were so sick. I
Yes,
remember so mad.
yes, never been away from home that long. And so when I said something to you about just so sad to be leaving, you were like, "Oh, good grief, Dannye! First you want to go home, but now you want to stay." Just because I want to go home doesn't mean I'm not so sad to leave,
Like, get your emotions together. Play with mine.
Yeah, and then when I was able to come back for the holiday, it was just so short. And then, it would have been probably about 2 years after that before you were back in the States for something, and I think we ran into each other. We got together at a friend's baby shower. No, I think it was Elisa's shower. Yes, and I was saying how I had been working and changed jobs, and then that job ended, and I was like, I'm just really in limbo. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. And you were like, I have an idea. How about this? And we got together and we talked, and I ended up, that's how I ended up coming the third time for when I was supposed to stay for the whole year, and came in 2018, and right at the beginning. So, yeah,
Hard.
very, very hard year, and another one that can't even imagine all the things that we had to go through, but that you wouldn't trade for any. Like I'm so glad that I was there. I wouldn't have not been there, even if I didn't know what was coming. Just so glad that I was there.
Yeah, well, I just remember thinking, I want first.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was so much worse.
So much worse.
So much worse.
Yeah. On so many levels. And I also thought, like, I was just thinking about all the things we did, though. Like, we went to Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time we went to
Nepal, yeah.
We went to
Thailand, yeah. Yeah, maybe twice. Did we go? No, at least once.
At least once,
yeah.
because you had to go.
I had to go out several times. A couple of times I just went into the airport in Hong Kong and came back. Stayed right. For a day and flew back.
But didn't at one time, like, something happened and you had to go to someone's house in Hong Kong?
Yes. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. Because you weren't there. You weren't in China, and we had to work out the whole thing. And then I had
come to America.
Yes.
To have the baby checked.
Yes, and then I had to leave. I had to leave for a visa run.
Yeah.
And then
I was in Thailand, and you had to go to Hong Kong.
Yes, because you were so sick. Yeah,
so sick.
And anyway, and then I was supposed to have a hotel, and something about that didn't go through, and I was like completely lost and ended up having to take a taxi forever that was supposed to be so much closer, and completely lost. It was so terrible. And then finally found a friend who knew somebody in Hong Kong who came a long way and got me and let me stay. That had to be the first trip. That was the first trip. That was in 2013. I had to make a visa run in 2013 because that's when I discovered I had lice, when I was on that trip. That's when I discovered that. Yes. And you were in China on that. Yes. And so in that trip.
Yeah, it's like a lifetime. Every time, every lifetime. Like, oh my goodness, how can this
How one thing after another.
Yeah.
No, but then it was precious friends of a friend or something who came and got me from where I was and took me home, and I spent the night there, and then I was able to get back to the airport for the next thing, and
Yeah,
it was fine.
that's right. Okay.
It was terrible, but it was fine. Everything turned out okay.
Our classic shirts. Everything's fine.
Yes, everything's fine. Yes. And then in the second trip when I came for the holiday, my luggage got lost, and I ended up having to miss a flight because of a delayed flight and having to stay in the airport overnight.
Yep.
Because they wouldn't let me get on anything but the same flight the next day. And I was so thankful that didn't happen on my first trip, because I would have not had any idea what to do, and I would have been in full-on panic mode.
Yeah.
And this time it was like, okay,
Yeah.
just what happens.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because originally I guess I had thought that you'd flown with some other people on the team, but
Yeah, I did. No. Yeah, it was
remember that now. That
Yeah.
you guys the night in the airport.
in the airport. Yes, it was wild. It was wild.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and
Oh,
then
man.
so then that third time was whenever we went to Nepal with Grace.
Yes, and
April, right?
And April, yeah, because y'all were trying to make a backpacker out of me.
That's right. Remember, Grace wasn't with us.
Grace wasn't with us on that. It was just the three of us.
Just the three of us.
Grace went on one of the
She
runs.
was.
She came to Thailand with us.
Yeah.
Me and you and April went to Nepal.
Yeah, that's so fun.
And,
Right, because at that time, so for a visa run, their visa required that they left the country and then came back.
Yeah.
And so we had to take these adventures on visa runs, which were not Jenny's favorite thing, but definitely mine. So I'm like, I'll totally go with you on a
But
visa
I
run.
mean, I have seen Mount Everest.
Yeah.
A monkey walked into the airport while we were there in Nepal.
We also picked up our Sprite bottle and drank it at that.
Yes,
little
stole the Sprite bottle right out of April's hand, and yes, drank it. It was so fantastic. And then we canoed in that
alligators?
with the alligators and everything. I mean, who else but Melody's going to talk me into this kind of thing?
Fun to me. I mean, what? Everybody else is doing it. Smell it for you.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so much fun. There was that color run thing where the elephants.
Because we ended up there in Thailand at some holiday.
It was
like
Nepal.
Nepal. Yes, at some holiday, and they threw color at us all the time.
We got just like
we got off in this one place, and all these children were like coming up to us, and they asked us before they threw it at us, but they were like, they were all covered in color, and they threw color at us. And,
yeah,
it was fantastic.
It was really fun.
So fun.
Yeah, so not all of that trip was fun, but that was at the beginning.
That was really fun. Yeah.
And it was very close to whenever you and I went to Thailand when Katie came.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Katie stayed with Chen.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And then, and then we got back, and she was so sick already. And,
right. And Katie had come from another foster family who had her since she was very young. And we could tell that there were a lot of things about that. But most important thing was that actually, was it when we were in Nepal that Katie came, or was it when we were in Thailand? Because I feel like that maybe she did we go pick her up from those people's house, or did they bring her to us?
They brought her to us. I think at least I wasn't. I don't.
She was already there.
She was already there when we got back.
Yeah,
we got to meet her when we got back from one of those trips, anyway.
Yeah,
and
then we had to leave her again. That was after she'd already come out of the hospital. So very quickly she went into the hospital.
Yes, very quickly. And she wouldn't eat. She had a cough, and said they even like in some translation somewhere they said something about the kidneys failing and things like that.
I think because she was so dehydrated.
Yes.
And so then her kidneys got involved, and then it was like, are we going to have to put her on dialysis? And there was a whole thing about that. And I just remember thinking, like, how could she have gotten this bad?
so quickly.
And not be taking care of her. And why did she come to us this bad? It seemed like that always happened. Like something was tragic going to happen, and then they would give us a child. And I just remember thinking with Katie, like, we're not going to let this happen. She's not going to die on my watch. I mean, I just can remember physically thinking, and I think already that I was pregnant with Shan, so I was already like really
you're protecting, and mother mode going on.
Sure. And then whenever they made her go to ICU, and then they shaved all her hair. Yes. I mean, that was like, I was like, I mean,
Yes.
And we take her to that different hospital. I had not ever had a baby at that hospital, like all the years I've been there, and that was like almost the last year. that was the last year. I know I'm talking about you, kid girl. But I had no relationship with them.
Yes.
And so I just remember thinking, like, Lord, you're gonna have to take this because the other hospital, I mean, I would walk in and they'd be like, "Oh, there she is again." Yeah, yes. Another one of them. They know how to. Yeah. And I knew the routine. This is how we come. This is how we do it. This hospital was totally different. Their visiting hours were different. How they did visitors, and all that stuff. Like when I had to give her to them, I remember them saying, "Well, we're going to keep her in for 24 hours. Don't come tomorrow."
Yes, I remember telling you that, and you almost.
I was like, "Oh no, yeah." Tell me I don't come back tomorrow. I will come back tomorrow. And I did.
Yeah.
They didn't let me in.
No, but you came back.
I did come back.
If I remember right, you told them to make sure and tell her that you had been there. Say it to her.
I did.
That Mama had been there.
Yes. And I mean, I just remember thinking, like, I wish everyone could see what Katie's doing right now because that's so cute. She must be talking about it. I love it so much. But I just remember thinking, like, she knows everything.
Yes.
We have to make sure that we tell her what's happening.
Right.
And that she knows, like, just let these people that that's all she's ever known. And she's with us, and then we take her to the hospital. Like, then I'm thinking, drop her off. Yeah. And she's just going to think we're terrible. And, my brain and everything. And so I just kept thinking, maybe if I talk loud enough, she'll hear my voice out here, because I knew where they had kind of taken her, where her bed was. But anyway, that second day, whenever they let me go in there, oh my goodness, it was so horrible. I just thought it was going to be such a miracle if she pulls through this. But, and of course, they're talking around her about all the terrible things. Like, oh, this is going to happen. And they've already shaved her head at this point. They're trying to see if she's having seizures and when are her seizures happening. And they're telling me all about the seizures. And they're telling me all about her kidneys. And I just remember looking at her and saying, "You're going to be fine. You are going to be fine because we love you and we care about you and you're going to be fine." And the nurse and the doctor were there talking to me. And I'm like, "You're going to be fine." Then I walked around to the other side of the bed. And then she turned her head to look at me to the other side of the bed, and I looked at them and I said, "Do you see that?" Yeah, she knows. She knows. She knows that I'm the one that's going to try to take care of her. So take care of her.
I remember you telling me too that when they made you leave, because you had like this time slot, and when they made you leave, you were like determined and told her, "You see, I don't want to leave. They're making me leave, and they're not, just know I want to stay with you. They're making me leave. I will be back," kind of situation.
Yes. Like, yes, I told her exactly that, and that I will be back tomorrow, or as soon as they let me come back.
Yeah.
And they just looked at me like you look fine every time. But I don't remember. It was almost 7 days. I mean, it was
long. It was very long. It felt sweet. Yeah. And then they ended up giving her the feeding tube, huge feeding tube.
I mean, we're going to put a picture up here because a lot of people listen to our podcast, but they don't watch it on YouTube.
Right.
So you can do both. You can watch the podcast on YouTube or you can listen. But the very, very first podcast we ever did, my mom was like, "It was kind of awkward at this one spot because there was like this random music and then you laughed." And I was like, "I did not laugh on my podcast, Mom. Like, there is no way." She's like, "You played a song." And I was like, "What is she talking about?" Rachel does like our editing for the podcast. I'm like, "Rachel, what in the world happened?" Because I rewatched it on YouTube and I'm like, and nothing happened. Katie was going through it there. And what I realized was, if you listen to it, the video that we played at the end of the podcast has my voice laughing. But if you're watching it, you can't
see the video.
You don't even realize that I'm laughing because it's just like you're seeing the video, and I kind of like
Yeah.
And then, but the song is kind of overlaid, and my mom was like, "You need to tell people with the listeners that there's a different way." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't think about it." My mom's a faithful listener.
Yeah.
But she listens and doesn't watch, which is probably what most people do. So, anyways, we do put pictures and sometimes little video overlays. So if you ever want to see that, you can check it on YouTube, but you don't have to. But anyway, you have to see the size of this feeding tube.
It was so huge. It was almost as big around as a pencil. I mean,
that
was huge.
Like I can't imagine what it felt like.
No, I can't imagine.
But also
the length of it was insane.
It was like we were carrying around food. It was my first time after all those years that they'd ever let one of our kids have feeding.
Yeah, and let them out with the feeding tube because that was like a big deal. I remember at the time they were like, "Oh, we'll never let her out with it," and then they did.
Right, that was through her nose, and I really, my experience at that time with feeding tubes was very small, but I made them. I acted like that.
You knew everything.
The feeding tube. Yep. I just wanted them to give her to me. Yes, because I was like, we're going to get her through this. We're going to get her
home. We're going to get her loved. And
we'll get that thing out of there. Because I just remember thinking, she's going to get infection. Yeah. Because of how big it is, how we have no idea, like how forcible the food is.
Right.
She getting enough,
And her hands wouldn't leave it alone most of the time. We had to hold her, or even we had a time where we had to have the little straps on her hands when she was in the bed so that she couldn't pull it out. And
yeah, so she laid in that little bed in my room with her arms down. I was like,
it was so sad. Oh my goodness.
Yep, but that was when I knew. When she came out of the hospital, that was when I knew. She is no longer my child.
Well, but what happened was right after she came out of the hospital, you had to leave again because you were so sick. And so Melody was like, "Oh my goodness, we're not, this child needs our love. She needs to feel safe with us. And so one of us is going to be with her at all times." And so Melody had to leave. So that was me.
I didn't trust anybody else.
And so we stayed together the whole time, all the time, 24/7. She slept with me either in the room or in the bed because she's still not a very good sleeper, but she was not a good sleeper. And, I fed her all the time. Yeah. I did everything so that she could be connected. That was the whole goal, is to help her be connected. And she's so happy because we love it.
Yeah.
But then, yes, by the time Melody got home, I think it might have even been before I called you and said, "Oh my goodness." And then when you got home, we packed up her stuff and took her to my apartment where I was staying. Yeah. And there was no going back.
Yeah. I mean, it was history at that point. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my word, this is like, I don't think I would have said it was more intense than Nyanza, but there was
a difference.
It was such a difference. There was a hope there because she had already made it through.
Yes. Yes.
And we saw her come through that and like on the brink of death and come through that there was so much hope that she can pull through in the future. And her kidneys had like really completely turned around.
Right.
And I just remember thinking like, the kidneys are gone, like there's nothing we can do,
right.
But because her kidneys functioned again.
Right.
And then she was like, the bathroom was always such an issue.
Yeah.
But at least she was having wet briefs and, all those things where I was like, okay, like, we're back to being hydrated again.
And we figured out better and different ways of feeding her that helped her to gain strength. And she was 5 years old at that time. She was still 5. And she turned 6 in 2018.
Yeah.
And so she was still 5 years old at that time. And she was like, and she was wearing size 2T and size 3T clothes. And she was teeny tiny, just had no strength.
Remember when you and I had to figure out to pull that feeding tube out?
You're on the phone with your sister.
I was like, we're not taking it back now.
We're doing this. Stop with this. You can tell. Every time we would feed her, you would talk to her about, see if you can swallow. We can take this thing out. And you would say it in English and you would say it in Chinese. And you would just tell her every time, we can take this out. If you can swallow and eat this up, then we can take it out and it will be fine. And
she was probably like, take it out, and then I can swallow. I can actually swallow. Hi, buddy. We're making a video right now. We're on a podcast. Okay. So that was like a really incredible little thing because I don't know. I think there's like little moments of time where I'm like, I needed your strength to believe that we could do that.
Yeah.
Like, because if I had been by myself, I might have given in and said, like, we should just probably take her to the hospital.
Right.
If something
Right.
happens and I'm
But
yourself
and pull off it, like, use each other to bolster each other up.
And I don't even know that you knew that you were giving me the energy to be able to do that, but I was just totally hanging on to it. Do we think we can do it?
I think we can do it.
And then afterwards, I was like, oh, that was nothing.
Yeah, it was so easy. And since she's been home, she had another feeding tube after a time of sickness, right after coming home, that she pulled out herself too. And I was like, yeah, it was the same as except this one was much smaller. Thank goodness.
Because you know what? I don't know how she swallowed with that.
I don't either.
The back of her throat while she was already struggling to swallow.
I can't imagine.
Looking at
I
it.
know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Right. So anyway, she lived with you for like 4 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost 6, really, by the time it was all said and done. At least that's 4 months, 6 months, somewhere in there. Like it was. And then
because they had already come and taken most of our kids.
Yeah. And we didn't think she would be taken.
Yeah, we didn't because her orphanage was so far away, and they had already not taken some of the other kids from her orphanage, and there were rumors that they weren't going to take them, kind of like Tia's orphanage, where they weren't going to take Tia back, and I just remember praying like, Lord, please, just don't take them, and then there's this whole thing of us getting the big house ready, and painting. Oh my gosh, we're definitely going to put a picture of Dannye up there. That's one of my favorite memories. You like in a gas mask, or just spray paint.
Yes, because I had some knowledge of air spraying. April, Amanda,
and I was pregnant, so I was trying not to do that because of the fumes, but it was so beautiful, and that was another death of just like getting the whole place ready and truly feeling like God wanted us to do that.
Yeah, the direction.
Yeah,
gonna fix it all.
Yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes I like wonder, Lord, why did you provide all that money and allow us to get to that point? And I do think that probably there's going to be stories in heaven of people that maybe understand in a different way. Maybe they understood the Lord, because of how hard we try. How hard we work.
Well, and because we know nothing that the Lord does is wasted, so. There's some reason that we can't see it.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
And we touched a lot of. We definitely were in contact and touched a lot of lives through that time. Maybe not at our best, but
I'm not at my best. But I do think the Lord worked through a lot, and that's hard too because, like you and I, we were there. We were in the middle of it. We knew our desperate cries. Prayer, how the Lord just answered so many prayers over and over and over again, but then in the end, there was still a really hard outcome. Yeah, and I remember coming back home, just some really hard conversations that people had, like very shaming, and what you did was a waste or something like that, and how the enemy really used that to spew lies in my heart and mind. But then just really like staying grounded in the truth that God really doesn't waste it. And it all works together. It does. I even think about like Joshua, who, maybe Joshua's life would have been much shorter. Yeah. And I do think that Joshua moved forward. Like he understood the Lord. How he would like ask questions about the Bible, had to go home to his dad and he passed out for that. Like being grateful to the Lord that he was able to live. He was longer than the doctor thought he would. Okay, girl, he's thinking about it. But those were super hard times. But then the day came where we had to get Katie back.
Yeah, I remember the day we found out we were going to have to give her back, and you told me we had to talk, and told her I think I'm going to be sick.
You know what I told you? Have to be all of that news. Back on your life, like of all things that ever happened to Danny. It's really been me that's had to tell you all the bad things. I mean, there's been other bad things happen since then.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord I didn't have to tell you.
No.
I'm sorry that those things happened, but really, for so many years, I thought tragedies are around me. Anybody gonna love me or want to be my friend?
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that was a hard conversation. I mean,
Yeah, that was really hard. And then the day they took her, and it was me and you and Stephanie, the other Stephanie, there, and really, really hard. And I remember the friend who was there, the facilitator of the foster organization.
I'm saying,
Yes. But I remember them saying, I remember you telling me later that they said, because I didn't understand, that they said they gave the people who came and got her a really hard time and said, you better take care of her because she's coming back to adopt her and you have to take care of her and she has to be okay. And they give her a really hard time. Although, one thing I have thought about since then, because one of those women who came to pick up Katie turned out to be a nanny who had been there when Katie came in as an infant. She told you about accepting Katie in as an infant after she had been found, and a tiny little baby, and she was seizing so bad. And it's not that made it okay, but that's an insight of her life that I would not have had that situation not happened. I never want that situation to happen, but and that was a beautiful thing.
She was still thriving.
Yes,
and like her, she just kept looking at her like,
yes, and it kind of was, and it was a comfort because she was. I didn't really feel comfortable at the moment, but afterwards, knowing
for hope.
yes, so many things about the situation with her being taken, not knowing where she was going, not knowing if she would be okay, but knowing that somebody who had known her when she came in was still there and obviously, loved at least, in the only way she knew how, she loved her and knew her. Like,
yes,
it was just, there was something comforting.
Funny parts because we have to lighten it up a little bit. So this time, particularly when Danny came to our house, one of Shen's friends was really trying to help us get the big house ready.
Yeah.
And we had hired him to do some work for us, and he did a ton of work without being paid for it. But we sort of named him. And because Danny's single, and she was single at the time, and she was single. She was the best one to poke fun at about he loved her. He wanted to marry her. He wanted to take her to the altar at any moment that she would say yes. And he brought her gifts. And he did nice things for Katie, which really ticked her off. I mean, constantly. I remember one time he brought a watermelon or some fruit or something. And he was like, of course he wants to give it to Danny, but he's like, this is for Katie. As we said, and so he's taking all these things in Chinese, and I'm having to translate them to Danny. And I'm like, oh, Danny, he's right. I'm like, he didn't but he's like giving him. He knew he didn't love watermelon because he makes watermelon smoothies and all these things. Anyway, so we called him various names. One of them has to do with that he didn't smell very nice because he never took a shower. And at one point, I was like, if you're going to live in our house, you're going to take a shower. Because our house was ginormous. There was different wings of it and stuff like that. And he had a little room. You could smell it coming down the hallway. 20 rooms. And you could smell it. And I'm like, and I would tell Chen, you're going to have to deal with that. He could not keep smelling in our house like that. And Chen's like, I don't know what I can do about it. And I'm like, I don't care. Take him outside and spray him down with the water hose.
Something
so bad.
So bad.
And So then I finally did say, Jen, you tell him that Danny would never even consider it. And it smelled that bad. I took a shower faster than I've ever seen a shower. Hilarious, but anyway, he also did not have a lot of initiative, and so one of his little nicknames had lazy in the word. And boyfriend, and there was an A word in the middle that was not very nice, but we called him our LAH all the time. And April and I would just go around, LAH is coming. Because the man didn't understand no English at all. And just as sweethearted as possible, but he had no idea what we were talking about. And it was just so fun. Danny hated it. It was so fun. But I do have to think that the Lord put him there for such a time as this because he went to visit Katie.
He did. Even after we had all come home. Well, first, when we were still there after she got taken, he took me and Stephanie, the other Stephanie, to her orphanage, to the orphanage where they took her, so that we could see her there. And it was amazing because when we got there, Katie was in a bed and she was laying down on her back, and they were trying to feed her, laying on her back and feed her rice and things. And I was able to, at that time, sit her up and show them how, even though I couldn't speak, Chinese or anything, I was able to do that. I was able to sit her up and show them how she could eat. And so that was definitely thankful for that. He took us there to do that and to see her. And then after we all had come home, he went back and visited her and checked on her several times, and would send us pictures and things like that. So it was that, and that would have been the only way to get information like that. Have somebody go see her, and so he genuinely cares, not just for me but for her. So it was a major blessing.
Yeah, so that's sweet. All the times I've been back to China since then, he's always asked about her, about Danny and Katie, and secretly has asked me to send a pic. Not recently, like before, after Katie came home, he would say, "Oh, just send me a picture of Katie. It's fine if they're together." Send me a picture of Katie and Danny together. Like, it's probably together.
Oh my goodness! So funny.
Oh,
fun stories.
How long did you take before you went back after Katie left? I can't remember if it was just like a week or two.
It was pretty short.
Did you plan to stay?
Right, I had planned to stay, but then when she got taken, we talked about, the fact that the sooner I went back, the sooner I could start the process to get her out again. And so I can't remember how long the distance was after they had taken her, but I came home that time before the October holiday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And got to work on making it where I could apply to adopt her as quick as I could. And
that's the time I remember thinking, I have never seen you. I mean, for very obvious reasons, but I saw from the first time you came to China until that time when you went home to work for Katie, where you doubted, like, each little step.
Mm-hmm.
To, like, there was not a doubt in your mind you would not have even spoken the words, "I wonder if," or "if God does," or something like that. Like, you were like, I don't care. I mean, I'm going with, I am raising the money.
Yeah.
She is coming home. And
I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew it was.
Yes.
I knew it was. There was not a doubt in my mind that was what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And that the Lord was going to do it, And really and truly, it was the Lord entirely, because, I mean, from me getting my little trailer house, home study approved and all this sort of stuff, and then, just the funding for it. I had people that I didn't know, that I don't know still, who donated $10,000. I had nieces who ran lemonade stands and gave me, their little monies from their lemonade stands. Everything, every step of the way was 100% the Lord. And then it was just one miracle after another getting her home. And the fact that she survived, because that was a huge deal. It was amazing. And I've heard through different ones probably um, your friend that had been there before. Different ones had told us that she had been sick a few times, and the Lord preserved her and kept her through all of that, and just miracle after miracle to get her here and to get all the paperwork done, and then for the Lord to get it done before everything shut down.
No.
We were one of the last trips. We went. There were a few that went in January in 2020, but we went. We got home right December 29th, 2019, and then everything started shutting down for people, and so because I have firmly believed in hindsight that she would have never survived that wait after that. And the Lord,
that was years.
that was years. And nobody could have seen that coming except the Lord. So he got it. We had a couple of little delays along the way, just as often happens with so much red tape and paperwork, but nothing extreme. And I turned in my very first paperwork in January of 2019, and she was home by our gotcha day is December 16th, 2019. So
it's amazing.
It's been amazing and just nothing but a miracle. So
yes, truly a miracle. I mean, her whole entire life. But,
yes.
And then now to see her go from like where we just struggled so much to get her to gain weight and all those things, and now she gets to have all American medical.
Yes,
where she
all the support
and
she is thriving so much and just
growing. Gaining weight and getting taller. And,
yes.
And this week is her birthday.
Yes, her birthday Sunday. She's going to be 14. I came home when she was 7, and she's going to be 14 this year. So
it seems like just a week of time. Like, and it also seems like was there a time you didn't have her?
I know. It's one of those things that like still all the miraculous things of getting her here still feel fresh. But then at the same time, she's always been a part of us, It's like there was never a time that she wasn't a part of us. So, and now we have, I'm Mama, but this is Mama Mel, and this is just our life,
Yeah, and she knows all the things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so sweet to see her thrive and understand, and how she uses her eye gaze device.
Yes, there's communication she's working on with her eye gaze device, and she absolutely adores her cousins and all that. She has so much interaction with people, and it's just.
And May has such a sweet relationship with her. May had a very sweet relationship with her in China. I always just say she loved her like she loved Sammy.
Yes,
like she loves Katie so much.
So connected. Yeah.
But now, I mean, she's like, she'll always say, if I say, "Oh, today I saw Miss Katie," and she's like, "You saw Katie girl?" Like, well, yes, Katie girl and Miss Katie are always together.
Yes, always together, never not together.
Yeah. And I also like whenever Katie first came, I remember how it was so important to me to give names of kids from people that I knew, or like Bible story people from the Bible that had exhibited something either that the Lord spoke to me over a child, or that I felt for them, like I wanted to impart to them. And my dear friend here in the States had been going through cancer, and I had just found out that she, was fighting her cancer, and that she had kind of come to a spot where she was doing really, really well. And I don't think she had quite gotten to the remission part of it, but that is why I chose her. And she had come to China a couple of times to stay with my home. And I was like, this is Katie, because Katie is a fighter. Katie never gives up. She was also single for many, many years.
I remember when we were sitting after, it was before Katie went into the hospital, but we were sitting together, and I had put Katie in my lap, and you were cleaning your room or something, and we were just all together, like talking and planning, and you hadn't decided her name yet, and you just kind of looked over and were like, "What about Katie? She's Katie." It was like it just dawned on you, It was like, this is it, and we were all like, "Oh, yes, that's right. That's what she is. That's her name." And And then you explained to us about your friend and everything, and it was so great, And most people now see that she's Katy Petty, and it's rather interesting the times she's been called Katy Perry. I never thought of that until somebody accidentally said it one time, and I was like, oh yes. So it's she's a firework. So we get it quite often, actually. People will glance at if she's being called back to the doctor's office or anything like that. They'll glance at her paper, Katy Petty, like almost say it or say it out. Yeah, we didn't think of that. Yeah, it was already her name before she became Petty.
Think about that thing. She right. That option. I should have forethought a little bit. It fits her perfectly.
It does. It suits her perfectly.
Yes. But yeah, there she goes. Smiling about. Oh my goodness. Well, I love what the Lord's done in the story and Katie's life. And I also love about just the intricacies of how the Lord makes all things together. So many hard things, but the good things wouldn't have come exactly if the hard things hadn't come down. And the faith building and having to wait on the Lord. Oh my goodness, when we left, I remember thinking, like, maybe if we could stay a little longer, even if Katie could come back to our home, right? Like, we could go and check on her, we could we could figure out how she was, and when we finally ended up having to leave, I just was like, okay, Lord, I gave it to you a long time ago, but now, if you're
now
going to have
physically leaving,
now I have no other choice. She's yours, and the Lord just took care of her so sweetly. That time when I saw you guys coming out of the elevator,
coming out from the runway, from the
airport,
and y'all were all there waiting
like 1 o'clock in the morning or something.
Yes,
I don't know.
And it was so good to see my mom and dad, and then I was like, get out of the way, I need to see Mel.
I was like, I think you guys are different.
This is actually a little different.
A whole different thing here.
Yeah, and we cried and cried. Saved and
such a miracle. Yes. It is a miracle.
Yes, she is.
Her mama is a miracle.
Katie's middle name is Eliana, which means my God has answered. I always said that was just like crux of our story is she's such an answer to prayer. The prayers I've prayed from the time I was a child of becoming a mother, and then all throughout, the faith building of kind of life and all that, and then to be able to have her come home. God has answered over and over and over again.
Yeah. Such a sweet story. So, thank you for coming today. On your birthday.
Yeah.
And Katie's birthday week.
Yes. It was fun. It was great to be able to chat with you for this.
Well, thank you guys for watching or listening, however you listen to the podcast. We're glad that you've been here. Have a great day.